Hey guys, welcome back to the emergency storage shed for episode 82. Today we're continuing to work on that middle shelf to open out the center of the room, or at least this end of it. There's some boxes up top. There's a crate there I can see in the camera. Not sure what's in it. I know one of them's got some old timber which I might have a use for. Let's get a bit down and take it to the bench and sort out what we're going to do with it. I'm pretty keen to get this center rack out because then we can get onto some really cool stuff in that shelf over there. All sorts of stuff, a big variety by the looks of it. Now, yeah, that crate has got some old timber, so we'll get that down and work out what we're going to do with it. It certainly won't take much to sort. I think it's pretty much all the same. Don't know what's in that big black box up the top. That probably needs to come down next. We're going to have to do this in order, otherwise we're going to have an avalanche. And contrary to someone suggesting that an avalanche, Shane actually, an avalanche may be rather exciting, I don't really want to break stuff and I don't really want to have a mess in here. Let's do it systematically and carefully. Sorry to be boring. And of course, Murphy's Law would state that the box at the top that fell would be full of Victorian lamps or something, so I really don't want breakages. We've got a bit of a bonus here. It's not just timber. I can see an army box and some other tin. Oh, it's a drawer. It's a drawer out of an early filing type system. That'll be useful for something, or it might still sell. We'll get that out. I'm not sure if there's anything in the army box. And I'll tell you about my plans for this timber. That's a cute little filing drawer. Looks probably 1940s or so. I'm not sure if I've got any more of those or not, but I think we might just use it in the shed for now, because if I do have more, that would make a really cool little set of drawers under the workbench or in a separate box. So, yeah, nice little piece. I don't think, look, I might be able to get $5 for it as it is, but I don't think we'll worry about that for now. We might as well just use it. Now, the army box that's in here does have something in it. Ooh, what's in it? It's a, oh, I better not turn it around too much. I've just been talking about breaking things. Okay, these are an ammunition box. And they sell okay. I'd probably get $20 for it, particularly if it's dated. Let's see what's in it. Oh, not very much, but looks like some car bits. A fuel cap. Doesn't look particularly old. Another fuel cap. Might not be off a car, I'm not sure on those. A little box with GM, so probably Holden. Maybe a point set. Let's open it and see. Might be new old stock. Oh, it's a flasher unit, I think. And it looks like it's well and truly second-hand. So often, especially farmers, for some reason, and I know my dad did the same, they would buy a new part for something, they would put the new part on the piece of equipment, and they'd put the old blown or broken part back in the box and put it back in the shed. Now, I'm not really sure what the logic was there, but given that it's second hand, I would assume that it's been changed for a reason. So probably we might just put that in the dollar box at the shop. Someone might buy it just because of the old General Motors parts box, Australian made. Yeah, not much value though. That's pretty much all that's in there, other than a bit of dust and a washer. So I don't know what these suit. They're probably fairly standard sizes. I'd possibly just put them... Oh, look, I might put them in a bag at the shop and put $5 a pair. I think they're a fairly standard fit, and they could suit anything. So $5 a pair on the fuel caps. And I reckon $20 on the box. It's in good condition, just needs a clean up. Now we have some of this old timber. It's very well weathered. It's obviously a part of a box that's been broken up, but beautiful grain on it, really large coarse grain, and it's just got so much character. I think I can reuse this, particularly the larger pieces. What do we got here? Oh, that's a box. Faber-Castell were, I think, pencils. Maybe it was a pencil case. But it's just a storage box now. I don't think I've got much use for that. and a very rusty old tin that's possibly a sweets tin or something. Swallow and Ariel made biscuits. So, oh, it says chocolate biscuits. It's a shame the label's not in better condition. It would have been worth something, but as it is, it's not much above just scrap metal, unfortunately. Okay, there's some decent pieces of timber here. Very early construction. Dovetailed corners it would have been. So it would have been a really nice box. Huge big wood screws into the side there. Lots of bumps and bruises, but that's just the character. There are a few holes, but they're not borer holes, or if they are, they would have been native borer that were in the tree before the timber was used. So there's no issue with insect damage to it as far as in recent times. That's a really nice piece of timber. I think I'll probably use that piece. And that must have been maybe the end of a box, I'm not sure. I've got some other pieces here. It's very light. I'd say it's a pine. And the old pine, as a lot of the old timbers, you don't have the knots in it that you get on the modern pine that's grown very quickly in plantations. This old stuff is generally really nice straight grain. Look at this, there's not a single knot. Geez, that's been knocked around for a long time. So it's too far gone to put it all back together as a box. I don't think it's even all here. That's the other end, I guess. Not sure if that was a handle on the outside or some sort of shelf bracket on the inside. But I think we can make use of that. And it gives me a spare crate to put in the van because I'm going back to the farm next week. And here's my plan. Quite a while ago in a video I found some old door plates and knobs and suggested they might make a really good coat rack. Well, I think this timber's just beautiful for them to go on. I'll trim it up at the bottom a bit so it's not quite so wide because this side's split. And I think I probably should take the old dovetail pieces off, maybe run the router around the sides just to bevel the edges, and a light sand just to clean it up a bit, and maybe some oil or something, just so that it looks nice, still has all its historic character, but we'll clean up some of these mouldy bits or black bits. I don't think it's mould. It might have even been burnt. Interesting. And as far as the doorknobs go, I'm not going to polish them or anything. I'm going to leave their old patina, clean them, and maybe spray them with a clear lacquer just to make a really nice rustic coat rack or hat rack. I would have probably preferred longer ones and had 4 or 5 doorknobs, and I've certainly got more of them around. But these planks are a little bit short for many more than 3. You need to leave a bit of a gap between them. Anyway, how does that look? I'll do that at some stage. It's not going to be right on my to-do list at the moment, given that we've got a lot to do and we are going away for a week and a half very shortly. But I'll get back to it, but that's what I'm going to use some of that timber for. If you've got any other ideas of what I could use it for, let me know. I'm certainly not going to burn it. It's just got too much character and it could be handy for numerous jobs. But at this stage, this is the thought I had. Okay, this bucket is pretty heavy. I don't know, it's awkward getting things from a high shelf when I probably wasn't the one that put them up there and they're heavy. We have some solvent. We have some old tools, pretty rusty. They've been outside. We'll check them in a minute, but let's go and get that black tub too because I want to get through a bit in this video. Okay, some tins and things. Shouldn't take long to go through. I think there's a pretty good tin there that's been painted. And I remember trying to do something with that, so I'll have a chat about that in a tick. But let's go through this bucket first. Okay, let's get through this stuff. The can of solvent is Green Ridge solvent, and it looks like it's xylene, which I think is just a general purpose solvent or like a paint thinner. It feels like it's about a bit over half full, so I'll probably use that. It's good to have some of those solvents in the workshop for degreasing jobs and all sorts of things. Now, what have we got in here? A lot of rusty stuff. This has probably come out of a shed I cleaned out, and a lot of sometimes, especially in old farm sheds, a lot of the tools end up under the workbench in the dirt or outside. That's probably still a usable spanner. That will clean up actually a fair bit better than that, so I think that's saleable. The Sidchrome shifter would have been a good one. It's made in Australia, but it's lost the worm drive. I do have some of them somewhere. I wonder if that's worth trying to clean up. I think it's too good for scrap metal. I'll have a look if I can find my little worm thingos. We'll see if I have one that fits it. I need the screw to go through there as well, though. Don't really have time to do that at the moment, and I don't really want to put jobs like this aside just, because it's worth doing, because I have more jobs that are worth doing than what I have time left in my life. I'm going to take that to the shop and put it in the dollar box. Someone else can have a look at that one. But it is a nice shifter. It's just a shame it's been so well weathered. We have a sledgehammer head that's been, it's been welded to a pipe handle, but it doesn't look like there's any weld contacting. I think this handle's just been hammered in there. And there's a fair chance if you're swinging that wildly, the head could come off, which is not what you want. Look, what are we going to do with that? Again, it's a bit good for scrap metal. Someone may fix it up. You could probably grind the weld out and actually put a timber handle back in it. But it's been pretty well... Yeah, it's pretty rough around. I think they've actually cut around there with a grinder and then tried to fill it with weld. I don't know. Maybe someone cut the old handle off it. I'm going to put that in the dollar box too. It's probably nearly worth $1 for scrap metal, but I would rather someone try and use it. We do have some bits of just general steel that will go in the scrap bin. There's a very rusty file that can go in the scrap bin. A scraper, not even worth trying to clean up. That can just go in the shred steel. The head from a block splitter, and I think this one had a fiberglass handle, and it's let go. It's probably got a spider in there. Don't know. Can't see anything moving. It's probably worth cleaning out again. That plastic will come out quite okay. The head's in fine condition. What does it say on it? It's stamped with something. It says wear safety goggles. Okay. So it's very modern then. They certainly didn't put warnings like that on old tools. Yeah, I'm going to put that in the dollar box again. The dollar box is going to be heavy, hey. Here we have a little mash hammer head. And same deal, someone can put a handle in it. If I put them in the dollar box, it means I don't even have to clean them up, so it saves me a bit of time. Here we have a piece of hex steel that's been used as a punch. It's flared out both ends. I don't think I need to keep that, so probably scrap box. A spanner here that looked okay one side, but the other side's got some sort of tar on it. It's all rusty. Dollar box again. Little scraper, probably clean up okay, maybe dollar box there. That looks like some sort of nozzle, a gas nozzle for something. Brass that end, it feels very light. It's actually rubber. I wonder if it was off maybe like a compression tester for a small engine. Not sure, but the rubber's no good. I'm just going to break that off, put that in the brass bin. And a few bits of metal down the bottom that look like they're possibly stainless steel because they haven't rusted. Yep, not magnetic, so they're stainless. They can go in the stainless scrap bin. And that finishes the bucket. All right, let's clean this stuff up. Hardly any value at all in here, but at least we've processed it. Let's get to the other box. Okay, it shouldn't take us long to finish this up. We have some things in the side here. What are these? That's looks like part of an old jack. Fold out, square drive, crank handle. It's either for a car jack or something, or maybe a caravan where you have to wind the back legs down on the old caravans. I really don't think that's going to have much value given that I haven't got anything that goes with it. I'm going to put that in the scrap metal. It's solid steel, it's heavy, but I don't think it's much point trying to sell it. Yeah, sure, if you had a jack that needed one of these, but I don't want it cluttering up the shop forever until the right person comes along, and most people would probably be able to make one pretty easily. Scrap metal. Okay, we have a bracket here. Oh, okay, I remember this bracket. I made this up for down the side of my old shop. I had a lane, and that's just purely some paper with texture and then taped over so it's weatherproof. Lasted for quite a while. And this ornate bracket, it hung off a post but I didn't want it hanging out over the footpath all during when I'm not open. So I put some hinges on it, some stepped hinges, and when I opened the door to the side lane, I was able to fold this around and then close the door so it's actually inside, not sticking out over the footpath. And when I was open, I swung it round and it directed people down the little laneway through a door to some more stuff which I used to sell, mainly just outdoor stuff, garden tools. But yeah, I just made that up out of a bracket. I didn't actually make the bracket, but I've modified it to work. What am I going to do with that? I don't have a laneway that I need it anymore. But perhaps it will still sell. Someone can make up their own sign. They might have their own use for it. I'll leave the hinges on it and I'll put it in the shop for $10 and see how we go. It's quite an ornate shelf bracket. We'll try 10. If it sits there too long, we'll drop it to 5. Righto, we have some hedge trimmers that the handles have all perished. The blades have gone all rusty. They still feel okay. They'll probably clean up all right. They're very modern. There was a barcode on there. They probably weren't particularly good quality ones. They're going in the other box with the hammerheads. And that leaves us with 3 tins. Now, this one, oh, it feels like it's still got oil in it. I often get a lot of tins out of people's sheds that have been painted. And sometimes you can be lucky enough to have quite a rare tin underneath the paint, and it's just a matter of cleaning the paint off without damaging the advertising underneath. Now this is a 1 gallon tin, so it's probably going to the early 70s or late 60s. I think it's BP Energol, it might be. I can't quite read it there. I had a go at getting the blue paint off, and obviously it was working, but it was taking a while. And I think I put it aside until I found a bit of solvent. If it all cleans back nicely, that 1 gallon BP tin is going to be worth $30 or $40, being in such good condition. Oh, the top's not very good. But you don't want it to take you hours and hours to get the blue paint off. It's just not worth it. So I will be experimenting, and maybe this solvent we found, the xylene, might be okay for removing the paint. I've got to try different solvents. You do have to be careful of, obviously, you don't want to take the advertising off. And these other tins are basically for the same deal. Now this one's obviously not in very good condition, but someone has painted it yellow. I can just make out Victor, so it was a lawnmower fuel can. Even in good condition, well, in good condition it might be a $30 or $40 can, but because it's probably an older one, but that's so badly dented that I think it's probably not worth trying to get the paint off. But I think I kept it as an experimental tin because, you know, the more I experiment with different solvents, I'm going to get to know which ones work well. It depends on the paint, of course, too, if it's an acrylic or an enamel. So, yeah, we might just keep that again for now, and I'll do some experimenting. And this one, let's get the tub out of the road. We've emptied the tub now. This, I think, is a can, like maybe a bulk flour or sugar or some sort of, I've even seen breakfast cereal tins, and it's been painted over with silver, but someone has turned it into a sterilizer, like your fruit preserving jars, where you'd have a thermometer in the side here, and you'd boil the water and you'd sterilize your jars for bottling. So someone has used, I don't know if I can get that open, someone has used an old can for that reason, because that looks homemade. I'm sure it's not a commercially made sterilizer. And I'm wondering if there's actually any advertising under here. Now, I once did find a painted can in a house when I stripped the paint off, and it came off fairly easy, that particular one. It was a very rare breakfast cereal can from the 1930s, and I sold it to another dealer for about $200. I don't think I've got a picture. If I can find one, I'll put it up, but I don't think I have got a picture anymore of it. Looks to me like there's just silver under there. I don't think there's any advertising. On a few spots where it's scratched, I don't think we have any advertising. But again, I put it aside just to see if I could find a solvent that would remove the top paint, and, you know, fingers crossed there might have been something good underneath. I don't think this one has. I think we can still sell this, probably only for $10, just as a kitchen decorator item. We'll try and get the lid off. Oh yeah, it's going to come out. And it's been painted inside as well. It's got a little stand in here to keep your jars off the bottom of it. But I expect it was possibly just a large unpainted canister and someone's converted it. But anyway, there we go. Maybe if I put it in the shop cleaned up, I could possibly get $10 for it as a homemade sterilizer. I think we'll value it at that. In fact, I'll just double check that there's no advertising underneath, but I think that's what we'll do with that one. So at least we'll get a little bit of value back there. The other ones, well, this will be worth something once we clean it off, but I'm going to just put it aside for now until I can find a good way of getting the paint off. Time for a summary and a look at the notepad. I've changed my mind on a few things, which I often do after a little bit of research. And I had someone recently comment on a video and saying, I forget the words he used, but he wasn't happy with my video because he said, do your research first, don't just guess. And I think he said blocked or something, or he left the channel. So fine, we don't need your type around here. I think part of it is good that I estimate just based on what I think at the start. If I research everything first, then give you a video, I think I come across as a know-it-all, and that's certainly not the case. I like to guess. Most of the time I'm pretty accurate, but sometimes, and including this time, I'm a bit surprised by things. Okay, and we'll go straight to that surprise. Well, I was going to throw this in the dollar box, this flashy unit. It is out of a late 60s, early 70s Holden, and I did test it, and it has an issue, but I found a few of them on eBay. One of them, I'll show you the screen here, it was new old stock, but it sold for well over $100 with 18 bids, and they're obviously quite sought after to get a genuine item. And there was a few that even weren't tested that sold for $40 or $50. So look, I've valued it at $10, but I think I could probably do better than that, certainly if I put it on eBay. But I'm going to do a separate video. We'll see if we can pull this apart and fix it. Because I'm going to get, well, obviously they're in demand and I'll get much better money for it. It'll make a pretty cool video to see if we can get it open. That'll be the challenge. Get it fixed and then have it back together somehow, because that aluminium can wasn't designed to be opened. So anyway, I valued that at $10. I've gone for $5 each on these petrol caps. Fuel caps. It just struck me that very few people are going to want two, and if someone wants one for a small engine or a generator or some whatever, they're probably going to be happy just to pay $5 to buy one. So we've got $10 on those. This spanner I told you would clean up a lot better. I didn't value this because I'm going to hang on to it. That was the worst side. And that's, you can see where the plating's gone. But yeah, it's still a very usable spanner. And I've just cleaned that up on my wire buffing wheel and then just wiped a bit of WD-40 over it so it doesn't rust again. But I'll keep that one. So values otherwise were pretty well as I mentioned. I aren't writing down anything for those because I'm going to get back to that box one day and that tin and try and clean it up. I'm keeping the solvent. I'll keep that little drawer for now. And as mentioned, I'll keep that large spanner. The rest of it, I'm not going to worry about that yellow Victor tin. It's just too far gone and it's not a good enough tin. Certainly not good enough condition, but it's not even a very rare tin. So that's just going in the pressing steel or in the recycle bin or something. A bit of general scrap. I've changed my mind on these block splitters and hammerheads and even the hedge trimmers. I think $1 is just too cheap. In fact, they're actually worth more than that for scrap metal. I think I weighed this one was about 4 kilos. So, there's close to $2 for scrap. I'm going to put $2 each on them. I said I'd rather sell them than scrap them. And if they're at the shop too long, I'll go in the scrap bins. So there's enough things at $2 each there and a few at $1 each. And I've allowed $10 for that bucket of stuff. So the notepad, as usual, it surprises us what it adds up to. We got to $70 and there wasn't much value here really. So $70 is pretty good. We will get our 20 for the army box. That's still outside. I've just given it a clean up and it looks great. And we've got some stuff to keep as well. So yeah, there you go. Another unboxing and sorting out done. Pretty happy with the return and happy to get more out of my shed. And I'm really happy to get a lot out of the storage shed this time. I've got a couple of crates and a bucket. Quite a lot of volume. Low value, but we want to empty that shed, and getting a lot of volume out really helps. Next episode, I think there's one more box up top. We're just about ready to move that rack out. I think we'll probably do that next episode. Our totals, we're just short of $13,000 so far out of that shed, 12,860. Pretty good. Happy with the progress. Catch you next time. Bye for now.